I understand what you say, Patrick, but what about the meat? What about the meat? A hot dog is a tube. It's not sliced meat. You put sliced meat on a sandwich.
But it's still meat between bread, and plenty of sandwiches have meat that's not sliced.
You're listening to the Junior Birdman Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Junior Birdman Podcast. I am your host, the Junior Birdman. Today we welcome two distinguished guests who will discuss the validity of referring to a hot dog as a sandwich. Our first guest is a historian who has served over 50,000 customers. He's won the distinguished Oscar Mayer Award 5 years in a row, which is a world record, and has served on the board of the Frankfurter Institute for over a decade. Please welcome Mr. Marlon Brondo. Our second guest is a certified food semantics expert with degrees in sandwich making from the University of Mayo and has just completed a paper titled Why Lettuce Layering Matters on a Hoagie. Please welcome Mr. Patrick Sterward. A coin toss conducted before the debate determined that Mr. Patrick Sterward will go first. The honor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Birdman. I want to start by saying that I can't believe we're even having this debate. It's so obvious that a hot dog is a sandwich. It's meat between two pieces of bread. That's the definition of a sandwich. If you go to any sandwich shop, they'll serve you a hot dog. Case closed.
Thank you, Mr. Sterward. Mr. Brondo, your opening statement, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Birdman. I have to say, I'm shocked that anyone could consider a hot dog a sandwich. A hot dog bun is not sliced like a loaf of bread. It's one piece of bread with a slice on the top only. That alone disqualifies it from being a sandwich. And don't even get me started on the meat. It's not even sliced. It's a tube. It's not a sandwich.
Thank you, Mr. Brondo. Mr. Sterward, we'll begin with you. Could you please address Mr. Brondo's concerns regarding the bun?
Well, of course, Mr. Birdman. Marlon, haven't you ever heard of a sub sandwich? It's a long piece of bread that's not sliced all the way through, and it is still absolutely a sandwich. So I don't see how a hot dog bun being in one piece disqualifies it.
I understand what you say, Patrick. But what about the meat? What about the meat? A hot dog is a tube. It's not sliced meat. You put sliced meat on a sandwich.
But it's still meat between bread, and plenty of sandwiches have meat that's not sliced. Have you ever heard of a meatball sub? Those aren't sliced meatballs, Marlon. They're still in a sandwich.
I understand what you say. It's very compelling, I understand. But a hot dog is just too different. It's too different from a sandwich. It's its own thing. It's not a sandwich.
Well, I respectfully disagree, Marlon, again. Simply because it's different does not mean it's not a sandwich.
Thank you, panelists. You heard by the sound of the bell. The debate portion is over. Let's move on to closing statements. We'll begin with you, Mr. Brondo.
Well, in closing, let me first thank you for moderating this debate, Mr. Birdman. And then let me reiterate again that a hot dog is not a sandwich. I know my business. This is not a sandwich. It doesn't fit the definition of a sandwich. It's a food, I agree, but it is not sliced meat. It is not a sandwich. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brondo. Mr. Sterward, your closing statement, please, sir.
Thank you for moderating this debate, Mr. Birdman. In conclusion, I think it's clear that a hot dog is a sandwich. It meets all the requirements. Meat between bread. And there you go. Any sandwich shop will serve you a hot dog. That's all the proof you need.
Thank you, Mr. Sterward. Thank you again, panelists. I invite viewers to please vote on who you believe won the debate below. And thank you for joining us here in this debate on the Junior Birdman podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Junior Birdman podcast. Be sure to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell to be alerted when new videos are posted.